Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So popping in back tonight, gonna start getting this wheat over to the custom silo. So we've got, again, about 367,000 in total. So that's gonna turn into 5 truckloads to get over to the custom silo. So really not that bad. Similar to when we took the corn over. But it's about 9:12 on the server here. It's running a little behind real time. It's closer to 10 p.m. in actuality, but definitely not bad. And so hopefully we will be able to get this over and get this done in a very quick amount of time. So let me get you up to speed on our sale options. In-game, 287 is the highest at one of the grain elevators. Again, not sure which one because they're both named the same thing. So I'd have to basically probably tag one to figure it out. So it's either the one down south here on this road or the one up in town, up north. But in either case, the offer we've gotten from the individual who's going to buy direct from us is 510 per 1,000 liters. So not quite double, but certainly up there. If I was to direct sell through the FSN website, which basically, for a reminder for those who may not be aware, that basically means I am shipping it off the map somewhere to someone, a hypothetical NPC who's buying it directly, hence the direct sell. So it's similar to what I'm doing. It's to a make-believe computer person rather than a real person. And so that was 508. So basically right about what I could do. And again, just like anything in the game or anything else, if I wait a little bit longer, if I sell at a different time, I might be able to get a different result. Now, if I run through the resource exchange, which would basically mean I ship it to my warehouse in Baku, and my warehouse being where this server is attached, so it's Baku, Azerbaijan. The current average for wheat is about 604, I think. All right, we're getting a little bit of lag. And so I usually sell it for $20, $25 below just to keep it moving. So I'd be in the high 500s basically. So 590 would probably be what I'd list it at. So I'm definitely going to lose a little bit, $80 per 1,000. But we're talking 360,000, so that's basically, it's not nothing. I mean, because we're timesing that 80 by 36, but, it's basically $2,400 or something, a little bit more than that, but, it's not a massive, massive difference. So, once again, because my goal is certainly to help out the Suez project, and this individual is telling me that this is where this material is going, I'm going to go ahead and sell it to them, but I have to get it moved to the silo first, which is obviously then the process we're going through right now. Yeah, it's just the challenge to sometimes get in here. And obviously loading this is easier than emptying it, because I just have to be anywhere in the trailer. And it fills, I don't know that I'd say it fills any faster than filling from the harvester, other than obviously the harvester only has about 18,000 capacity when it's full, and this has 40,000 into one trailer. So this will get us down to about 200,000 left to go. Once we're full up, second load, so we'll have 160,000 over in the custom silo, and then we'll get that over there. Am I stuck on something again? I am. It is just such a challenge to get these things clear. It is moving though, so I don't know if it's moving enough though. So let me back up and see if I can maybe move it over a bit more, get a cleaner run. But obviously very, very tight quarters moving through these silos. So we'll circle back around and we'll get out there. So next thing obviously I need to figure out is exactly what am I going to do, because at this point I'm just trying to get things straight in my head, honestly. I started out planting canola in the north. I then planted potatoes in the south. Then there was a slight difference in order, but really I planted the north and the south, which is basically the alternation that I would prefer to go through. So wheat in the north and corn in the south. It just happened to be that while I planted both in year 82 because of the way things worked, so springtime in year 82 the corn needed to get planted, and then in the late summer and early fall we planted the wheat up north, and then the corn was basically ready to harvest just before wheat planting, if I recall. And then obviously wheat had to grow through the winter, through the spring, and we just harvested it today. We finished up. So we started yesterday, but didn't quite finish until today, based on some server problems we had too. Because if everything went smoothly yesterday, if I was able to get in when I wanted, I likely would have finished everything yesterday on the harvest, and may have run this over yesterday, or may have still run it over today. Who knows? Not really that terribly important, but we'll get this dumped out. So I do like these hoppers on the custom silo because the pits let us empty both of the trailers together. So that makes for fast work on this end, where obviously at my silo I have to fill one of them each, which is, I think, pretty common. I don't think any farm, other than some of the largest ones, might have something that would let you go ahead and fill multiple trailers at a time. Alright, so we've got 3 more trucks to go. But, again, it's been 8 minutes, so that's really not that bad to say we've got 2 already delivered to the custom silo. And there was a little bit of time savings, obviously, because the truck was partially full. It was over half full because we had the back trailer already full, because we never emptied that into the silo. We just parked there in anticipation of delivering this, because regardless of how we were going to sell it, it was going back into the truck to get there. And then we've got our pigs moving forward, continuing to just be little pigs, growing into big pigs. So I keep saying little pigs just because, I think as humans we're always like little animals, baby animals. They're so cute, they're so nice. It's challenging to come in this way, but I don't know that it would be any different any other way. 'Cause swinging around, I'd be making a U-turn basically in, but I think at this point I'm somewhat centered. I guess I'm not really over to the right, which is probably okay, because I can rub on the other side just as much as I can on this side. And obviously, neither one is good, because it just slows us down. But the trick is to try to turn before we hit the tree. And then we've obviously got bees, which we haven't touched in a while. I did come across a mod, not available in FSN. I don't know that they'd ever make it available in FSN because it truly just makes things automated. But it's basically an automatic cell point for animal pens. And basically what it is it's a cell point, but you overlap the cell point with your drop point of the animal pen, and then it will just automatically sell your material. So it just kind of creates that loop. So you'd be able to sell eggs, wool, and honey, and it was like a $5,000 item. It was just a building with like a little concrete building with a cell point. So it's definitely interesting, and was like, wow, that would be great, because then I wouldn't have pallets sitting around, and then I could do those kind of animals and not have to worry about it. But at this point, if I wanted to do eggs or sheep, I would need to basically commit to probably coming in and emptying pallets pretty quickly. Honestly, probably on a daily basis. So still not sure that I can do it, because I think all of those pens produce more than one pallet. And so if it turned into that I had production at the level that I was, even if it capped at 2 and then basically waited until I emptied it, it would still be 2 pallets when I really needed to be 1. And I think eggs might actually do up to 4 pallets. The only difference is I do think chickens are relatively slow in production. And that may simply be because I just didn't have enough chickens at the time. So maybe once you get up there, it still becomes kind of unmanageable as well. So I'm not sure. So I don't know if I really have any ability to look at that here. But obviously it's the same day as when I was considering it earlier, so it's not as if much has changed in my head. I'm just kind of thinking once again that short of, basically I've been waiting on this harvest since when I harvested corn, almost a year ago, or over a year ago. So I definitely had many days of just kind of waiting to get back and do something, which is what makes me think, gee, I need more work here. But as I've said, if I go with dairy cows and so forth, even if I didn't go with dairy cows, if I just decided, all right, I'm going to raise beef cattle, I still have to feed them. The only difference is I don't have to cart milk off. But I think the milk is a lot more lucrative than carting the cattle. So it'd be hard not to do that, because basically you're doing the same thing and just not getting the output. But going back to my fields, this now will then be the 3rd cycle that we're starting, and so I will start up north with something, at this point next year. So I've got a little bit to think about it. Whoops. So this is what I did the other time, and then you overturn, and then you can't get in, And this is probably how I'm going to get stuck again. Oof, it's just a tricky one to get into properly. All right, filling up. But yeah, I'll definitely do some animal work in between now and doing whatever I'm going to do on the north field. And the question really starts to become, do I stick with trying to do things for the Suez project, which would really just keep me with corn and wheat? Or do I just grow something else to just see how that works? Because at this point, right now, I think wheat, of the things I've grown, I think wheat is going to be my best crop. We got a good return. You know, we've got 500-ish per liter, which is, I think, where we were at. I think for the canola we got like 525. But we had, I know we had less than 320,000 liters. I think we had like 287,000 liters. So this was almost another 80,000 liters and basically about the same price. So, which means we're going to get 180,000 in sales off this field. And I also think it wasn't that consumptive of materials to get it planted. But unless I start running other crops, I'm going to have a challenge trying to figure out if there's a better alternative out there. So I'm going to have to think about it. I think that if I went with something different, the logical thing might be soybeans. Because I know those sell for a good amount, and I think I've always had good luck with them as far as a return. But the thing I think that I'm mentally wrestling with a bit is I'm still used to the income I had in Seneca, which used to be $500,000 a year was pretty much what I was averaging. And so when I'm making 180,000 on this wheat, for example, it just seems like somehow something's not working. But I have to keep in mind I'm not running 150 or 140 to 160 acres like I was there. And I keep trying to remind myself of that, but obviously I'm doing a terrible job. Because I know if I was doing all of that, I would be complaining that it was too much work. So the thing I just need to be comfortable with is getting to that slower pace of income and realizing I'm still making a profit, and that's the goal. As long as I'm not losing money, I'm then doing what I should be doing as a farmer, which is running a profitable business that basically then is self-sustainable. Alright, so this should be my last truck. And so yeah, I mean the difference is that as far as funding other things, it just takes longer, because if I get $500,000 to $1 million, then obviously that can do a lot of things in 1 year, versus now, if I'm selling for 180, and even if I only put 20 or 30,000 of supplies in, I'm really netting like 150,000 in profit. So to get 500,000 to 700,000 in profit is going to take me 4 or 5 years instead of 1 year. So it's just significantly slower movement than what was happening there. But on the other hand, you know, I ended up with $11 million, and, you know, I'm still working through that while I now am starting to be able to be self-sustainable, because I needed it to effectively start this farm. So here we go. We're going to fill this trailer and then a tiny bit on the other end, and then we'll be done. Because we got about 48,000 that we need to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this, because since I can dump both trailers, it'll actually go faster to do it that other way, because otherwise I'll be waiting for this one up front to dump, and it's likely, you know, not even going to be noticeable, but it's just the principle of the thing. So didn't quite split it evenly, but because I think we've got 30,000 up front, so it's still substantially more, but we obviously pull up with that trailer first, start dumping it before we then line up the back ones, so it's possible they'll be very close. So yeah, I just need to kind of determine, and I'm still clearly in that mode of trying to figure out what truly the level of effort I want to have here on this farm. So right now it feels like I could do a bit more. The problem is I think my options available for me at this point are not really a bit more. If I plant the entire field, that easily becomes double the work, so it's 100% more. And I think, again, the only viable animal addition is cows and dairy, which I'm thinking is going to be the same type of thing, and it might even be worse. Now, one of the things I am thinking of doing, because clearly I've gotten very used to this route in and out of my farm, is if 8 comes up, I may purchase that field just to make sure that I always can use that egress across the river to get here. It's not going to be that expensive. If I don't use it, it's not going to be anything crazy, and if I do somehow go with cattle, that's where I was thinking is, you know, that could become my grass field, for example, and I just let it grow and mow it and do the thing. And I think then with grass you're able to drive over it, and so it doesn't change my usage of just going around and using it as a pass-through. Or it just lies fallow like it has been now, and, you know, I spend a couple $100,000 to just leave that lay there. Because field 39, that's the one we just plowed, that's outside the other side of my exit. Oops. I need to go back and get the actual amount, because otherwise I can't, there's not a way to determine how much I have to sell. I mean, I can verbally tell them, but people usually like to see it, so I forgot I need to swing around and, in essence, try to unload it. Alright, so 367,959, I think, is what I had there. So I will send that over when I am done to the individual who's buying it via Discord. they put up a customs contract instead of me putting it up, which then delivers it straight to their warehouse, which then lets them do whatever they're going to do with it, which I hope is turn it into bread or cereal for the Suez project and get that sent over. So at this point, I may simply be planting wheat here again, because as I said, of the two crops, that seems to be the one that makes more sense. I'm going to have to just verify that in my spreadsheets. And if that's the case, just like I did in Seneca, I kind of got on a rotation, and that was because crop rotation existed as a thing, and it really doesn't right now in FS22. So before, if I planted wheat and then planted wheat again, I would actually lower my yield without rotating some other crop in there. I'm going to fill this truck up, and then I'm going to pull it around and park it like I did before. And obviously then we'll be done. I'm going to see when I disconnect if my tractor's kind of at the point where I need to this is almost not working out. So we'll see, because this is not a very sharp turn. I think I'm going to get myself hung up here. Yep, I sure will. Oh boy. Best laid plans, right? And at this point, it's going to get really ugly. Alright. So anyway, I'm going to get this thing cleaned up. And I'll see you in a... well, let me see. If you want to... oh boy. You know what? Maybe I'll leave well enough alone and just go here, because it doesn't really matter where I leave it. I just need to be able to get out of here at some point. Hello. Why are you going that far forward? Alright. Good enough. It's not like I'm normally bringing anything else in here. Of course, now I say that. Well, no, it's fine. Trying to disconnect my cables. Alright, that was really... okay, I did detach the hoses. What is going on? Oh, I see. Because I'm not up at the front, I'm trying to detach the back, so it's telling me. Alright, so yeah, I need repair on this semi, which is kind of what I thought, because I think the trailer itself is in pretty good shape, but this is not. So I'm going to go ahead and get this repaired. Almost 3,000, but that will get it in pretty good shape. Yeah, it's probably pretty dirty. Just getting, it's late when I get to bed, but it's that laziness that gets me in trouble later. I think I might have been too close. Wasn't really cleaning appropriately. I don't know, is it cleaning at all? I don't understand. It's like I'm not hitting something that makes it better. Can I not clean this truck at all? I don't get it. It does not seem to be functioning. Let's see. If I move around, does it do anything? Like, it's literally not cleaning this truck. I don't understand. Alright, well, it's not for lack of trying. How about that? Wow. don't understand. Alright, now it won't let me get back in. This is not good. This is what it was doing the other day when I was having trouble with the server. So I may have to do that and exit out and then come back in. Yeah, it's not letting me into anything, so we are having a repeat of that behavior, which is disappointing because I thought things were in pretty good shape. So in any event, I'll let you get going so you don't have to work with my troubleshooting, and I'll see you next time.